And, while I wish she was here, I always tell people, I'm like, that girl changed the world without even taking a breath. And I'm like, that's powerful.
How many seats does your venue hold?
200? Why?
Jack, let me join your set.
Wait, what? And in exchange, I help you write a song to get your ex back?
He's not my ex. And yes.
Congratulations on your new role. Get Him Back for Christmas, your new movie. I love a good movie coming out on
thank
December
you.
14th. So congrats to you.
Thank you.
Is it more exciting? Is it more difficult to work with your partner?
No, it's so good because we elevate each other. Like he brings out the best in me, I bring out the best in him. Now, don't get me wrong, we're a couple. So there are days where like you are totally frustrated with one another and you just gotta play it cool on set. But we're both so professional and at the end of the day, we've never been in a fight that was so big that we become inoperable. I think we would have much bigger issues at that point if that was happening. We're big communicators. I always tell people, I'm like, when you get in a relationship, just make sure you're both running in the same race. Because if you're both in different races, then you aren't going to get to the finish line together. The goal, you need to have that same goal in mind. You need to have the same finish line in mind, or else the relationship will fall apart because you'll be running in different directions.
Was there like a specific scene or moment in the film that was especially fun or maybe memorable to shoot?
Oh, heck yes. So we were so blessed to have been given the AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play, and that was truly a career high for all of us because they gave us this stadium. We're literally in the middle of the stadium. We're the only people there. And first off, that scene came out so great. I'm so happy with everything that happened in that scene. It's just such a climax for the movie. And the music in that scene, just so proud of it. But at the end of the night, it was the very last thing that we filmed for the movie. And everybody's packed up and it's just me and Carlos in the middle of the field. And we're looking at each other just going, do you think this will ever happen again? Nobody's here. It's literally just us in the middle of this field. So we both just started screaming because it was the coolest thing ever.
You also have a very busy acting career, but also you're raising a family with young kids. How are you
my gosh,
balancing this like bubbliness and cooking and cleaning and keeping the hubby happy? How are you balancing all that?
Listen, it's a little bit of everything. We're kind of all over the place. Like Carlos is at a big photo shoot right now for a big time rush. I have one kid waiting here at the window for me, literally, while the other two are just kind of like working on homework in the other room. So that's just kind of the balance that we've accepted. Every now and then we will get extra help just because if we're both filming at the same time, the kids cannot watch themselves, but we still, not that there's anything wrong with a nanny. There's nothing wrong with a nanny. I just have found that so often we no longer become the people raising our kids. And I'm watching it in this industry again and again. And I don't want that for our family. I don't want that for our children. A career is wonderful, but it does not replace having a family. And I know that I would have regrets in the future if I just missed out on all of these things. So yeah, it is hard to balance it all, but you find a way because it's worth it.
How has your experience as a mother changed your perspective on life and your career choices?
Everything. Not that I wouldn't be this way anyway. I feel like ever since I found my faith, just the roles that I was taking in general were just way more, I was just so much more aware of the content I was putting out because I didn't want to contradict the things that like I believe in. And also I'm like, how am I out there doing all this crazy risque stuff, but then like preaching and other things? So really finding the balance of like, okay, what does this career look like with my faith? And then when I added kids to it, it only validated my choice. I was just like, oh yeah, you know what? I don't want them to be able to go back later and watch these kinds of things. So I'm really happy with the choice I made. And it's great because look, while they can't watch everything that we do, just because, there will be probably, deeper stuff that we end up filming later on that is just not appropriate for younger kids, but we'll have, I think, really important messaging. It really comes back to messaging for us as a family. But we do try to make a lot of family-friendly content because that's how we grew up and we just loved it.
I want to ask you also with delicacy and respect.
Yeah.
I know earlier this year you shared something very private,
Yeah,
and
so
breaking with us. So I want to ask you how you're doing, how your family's doing after that.
thank you. it has its moments. So earlier this year, we ended up having a stillbirth, and it's not something that you would ever expect or wish upon your worst enemy, because we had a heartbeat to beat 2 minutes before we gave birth. So it was really something unexpected, and she was so beautiful. She was a chunky little girl, looked just like Carlos, dark hair, cocoa bean skin. But here's what I will say. There was a lot of pain, but it was pain with purpose. And for people who haven't had to walk through something heavy like this, it's really hard to understand. Like, how can you find joy after that? How can you experience this crazy peace? It was supernatural peace right away. Like, it was painful. Like, we would cry and we hurt and we grieved, but we also celebrated. We also rejoiced. I hugged my kids that I have here on earth a little tighter, but I still feel so connected to Indy. I know she's up in heaven. I know she's dancing with Jesus and having the best time ever. And you know, while I wish she was here, I always tell people, I'm like, that girl changed the world without even taking a breath. And I'm like, that's powerful. Her life is so powerful and continues to just be such a light in this world. And I can't ask for more than that.
I have never heard it said like that, but that is a beautiful way, and that is a beautiful perspective to bring to the table about. I've never heard it said like that ever.
My littles have taught me so much, even during this grieving process, because of the questions that they've asked about Indy, the questions they've asked about heaven and about God. It's been incredible, especially this little man. He's so emotional, he's so intuitive, and he cares so deeply that it's been such a beautiful experience for us as a family, as difficult as it has been. You live differently when you have to think of heaven every single day. Like, you just do after loss. And my kids talk about heaven every day. We talk about heaven every day. That your life really does become fuller after loss. And it's such a strange thing to say. Truly, this loss has only magnified the beauty that's around us, magnified my children, my family, the love that we have for one another. Even through the tears, even through the harder days, there's just so much more appreciation.
Congratulations to you. And again, I think you have chosen the perfect name for your production company, because you and your husband and what you all bring to the table, what you all give us, is good for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I really appreciate it.
Let's wrap it up with a bow really quickly on Get Him Back for Christmas. Why should fans go see this movie, or see this movie when it premieres on December 14th?
Please go watch this movie. It is so joyful. It truly will make you smile all the way through. The music is awesome. So many fun surprise cast members that I think a lot of people will recognize, especially from the Vine days. So if you ever loved Vine way back in the day, we have some people who will pop up throughout this movie, but we're just really, really proud of it. And we're proud to bring back elevated Christmas movies.
I also want to ask you about the festival. I mean, I love that you're beaming with pride from this movie.
Yeah, I'm so happy. You know, unfortunately, we won't be able to attend the festival because it has been a little crazy, but I've heard so many good things about the festival. I know Mario is actually attending this weekend, and he makes a surprise appearance in our film. So hopefully, you know, he talks about getting back for Christmas while he's out there with all the Great American Family fans. But supposedly the festival is pretty awesome.
We're hearing so much chatter about the Great American Family Christmas Festival, and I can't wait for us to see what happens at the festival every single year.
Me too.
Yes.
I'm gonna need some videos. Somebody's gonna have to send me something. We're missing out.